What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to break down some big news that's coming out for Teslas. We're getting very close to the big day tomorrow. And also some big news about the markets and data that's coming out. But before I begin the devil's information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Weeble and deposit $500, you guarantee 20 free stocks. And the offer ends very, very soon, at least in just a couple of hours from now. Anyways, for Tesla, as you guys can see, we have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure. We've been pumping all the way up to this 200 area. And we're still holding up very well here, kind of continuing to shuffle. I just want to warn you all that today's move doesn't really matter as much. We're going to see a much bigger move tomorrow once we get the deliveries data. So we're seeing a lot of headlines right here that Tesla's deliveries are set to fall for a second straight quarter. We're seeing a lot of negative headlines coming out, and we're going to likely see their June quarter deliveries fall about 3.7%, according to some articles, because of stiff competition in China. Now, is this guaranteed? I can't make any promises, but I am seeing some analysts saying that we're going to get about 438,000 deliveries, if not less than that. Others are saying about 440 to 450,000. We're also seeing this right here. Wall Street is ready for disappointment. I'm not going to make any promises about this. I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I'm just saying that this is what these headlines are saying. And we'll have to see how Tesla does. I'm one of those people that doesn't really like to solely depend on these headlines. I would say just wait for the numbers just to be safe. But analysts have lowered their expectations. They're now expecting as much as a 12% drop year over year. And with Tesla pumping approaching, this big report, I do want to warn you guys to be very careful with this, especially when you're seeing all this negative sentiment. Some good news for Tesla, however, is the fact that the robotaxi patent is teasing an automatic sanitation system, which is pretty cool. This could be very, very useful, especially because of the fact that this will help keep things a lot cleaner. And this could be used once again for the cyber cab and a bunch of different things out there. This will be once again shared amongst multiple persons, and that could be very, very useful. It could also be used to detect temperature, humidity, the presence of pathogens, and a bunch of other things like that. And the sanitation system then obtains and generates a sanitation routine based off the sensory data and things like that. So that's going to help them once again understand a lot of different things for Tesla. So very, very cool stuff, at least if the robotaxi comes out soon. That would be a very, very cool feature. Tesla's also trying to extend its 5-year zero interest rate loan incentive in China to once get a lot more sales up and to continue to get things to grow. So very interesting stuff. We'll see how this ends up going, but the benefits have expired for quite some time. They're going to be looking to try to increase it over time, at least the length of it. So we'll see if that happens. As far as the overall market goes, however, I just want to call out something else that's very important. I want to note to everyone that we have even more very, very important data coming out. Do not forget that today is Monday, July 1st, 2024. About 15 minutes after the stock market opens, we have the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI report. Then at 10 o'clock a.m., we have the ISM Manufacturing PMI, employment, spending, and then new orders, not to mention prices. But just note that new orders and prices will be very important. So expect some volatility for Tesla in the market at 10 o'clock a.m. because this is going to be important for inflationary data. And we'll see if this leads to a pump or dump in the markets. Now, we're in the second half of the year, part 2 of the year. The first half was pretty decent for the markets. We will see how the second half goes. There's also some news coming out that Boeing said on Monday it might buy back, once again, a very, very important fuel age maker. That's actually very, very important for them because in an all-stock deal worth about $4.7 billion, it now is going to be increasing its debt transactions. That's something else that's worth noting. Also, Disney has a new movie, Inside Out 2, that's absolutely killing it, so good news for them. Anyways, that's it for all the news about the markets. Don't forget to expect some volatility around basically very, very close to 10 o'clock a.m. So what do I see for Tesla moving forward? One thing worth noting about Tesla is on the 4-hour, we're approaching this chop zone. So know that Tesla loved to chop between 206 and about 198. I'm going to show you right here. Right here, this happened back as we approached the month of March. There was this big chop zone. So I think that Tesla's going to enter a lot of volatility around this 200 area, going back and forth and back and forth and see a lot of choppy price action. I think there's a good chance we're going to be seeing that affecting us right now. So as far as Tesla goes, we are above 201. We could try to go a little bit higher. We'll be watching to see if that ends up being the case. We could try to retest 202. If that breaks, we have 204 and 206 worth watching. And we have 199 as support, not to mention 196. My prediction for Tesla is simple. We basically try to pump a little bit higher. Then we just trade sideways within this range for some time. And once again, the move doesn't matter as much because deliveries will be a lot more important. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens when that comes out. As far as SPY goes, even though we were down at least on Friday, we are trying to rebound a bit, and now we're just consolidating around this 545.8 area. So, like I said in my earlier video, if SPY can break past 547, look for a test of the all-time high. And if we end up losing 542, this neckline right here, we will turn bearish. We'll be looking for about 537. We have a double top like structure, but there's no sign of us breaking yet. So we're going to give this some time and just see how things go as we continue to remain range bound. So I would say just wait for SPY, give it the time it needs, and we'll see how things go from here. But that's going to be pivotal for how things end up continuing, at least moving forward. For now, it looks like SPY may try to pump in the morning. Then we'll have to see what the big reaction is once we get the manufacturing numbers. But look for a little pump, and we'll see if we dump after that or not. But I do think it's going to try to push a little bit, at least upon open. And then after that, we'll see what happens once we consolidate. But make sure you watch the levels for the much bigger move. That's going to be pivotal for how we end up moving. As far as Nvidia goes, like I said, we're still range bound. You guys can see how we kind of dipped here to 120. I called 120 in my earlier videos, and we're now just in a bit of a downtrend right here. So watch this channel. Nvidia may continue to downtrend for quite some time unless we get a big break out of this channel. If we get a break, then this could be forming a nice flag breakout, and that could take us all the way up to 130. But I'll be watching to see if we get that breakout or not. For now, we're holding up well. So watch that range. Bitcoin has broken past 62,000. I did call out 63,500 that broke, and that's what happened. So now for Bitcoin, we might retest 62,000 and try to bounce, and Bitcoin may continue to form a nice cup right here. So I see more upside potential for a little dip and then a bounce. It's looking pretty good so far. For the QQQ, even though we have a double top like structure, we are trying to rebound a bit. So I'm going to be looking for a test of about 482 or so, and then a lot of sideways price action. Watch 482 as resistance and eventually 486. If we end up losing 478, we'll be looking for a bigger drop all the way down to 475. As of right now, we are range bound. We have a double top like structure, but we could try to rebound a little bit higher. So we'll see if that ends up being the case or not. But so far, the QQQ is holding up decently, and there's a good chance we're going to try to push higher upon open, but then we'll see what the reaction is after we get the very important data. Apple's also trying to rebound, look for a test of 212.5. But even though it's rebounding a bit, I would say that we're still kind of range bound. We have this nice little wedge that's forming. So we're going to likely continue to maintain this wedge. We could be looking for a little bounce and just some sideways price action, on range bound price action until we get a break. So that's what I find to be very probable. For Coinbase kind of gapped up. We're going to be looking at this resistance area. Make sure you're very careful with this as we have this range right here. We could come down to fill this gap around 222, then try to bounce, but watch for that carefully. Coinbase is in a very, very critical position, and we'll see if we end up coming down to fill that gap or not. Amazon, like I said in my earlier video, I wouldn't be surprised if we eventually end up testing this 193 area, very close to where our 20 EMA happens to be. If we hold this, look for a rebound back up to 198. If we lose this, we'll be dipping back down to 189. So watch a test of 193. Meta is also dipping a little bit. Watch a test of 504. If we lose that, we're going to be dipping all the way down to about 498. If we bounce off this, we're going to be looking for a rebound. As of right now, I'm going to try to be very, very patient. And there's for two more before I finish the video. Microsoft is trying to rebound a bit. We'll look for a test of 450. If we break through this, we're going to be pushed up to 452. If we reject here, we're going to be dipping back down. So watch for a little rebound. We did call that out yesterday. And then for Google's also trying to rebound with Microsoft. It's actually stronger than what I was expecting. But make sure you watch 184. If we lose this, we're going to start dipping back down to 182. If we hold this, we continue to push. So just be very patient, at least nonetheless. With that being said, guys, I want to thank you all so much for listening. That's it, at least for this video. As far as Tesla goes, we're going to see a lot of consolidation. It's going to push a little bit higher. We could tag like 202 to 206 very, very soon. We could tag that area and just kind of consolidate for a bit. And then once Tesla announces its deliveries tomorrow, we're going to see what the real move is. So I'm not really too worried about this move, but just know that Tesla's holding up nice and we could push a bit more before we see anything else. All right, so that is it for the video. I want to thank you all so much for listening. I really appreciate your guys' attention, your likes, and etc. I want the best for everyone out there. So please have a great day. Enjoy what the day has to offer. Enjoy your trades and be very patient. And I'll see you guys in just a couple of hours for another update. Thank you for listening, and peace out.